This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 6:15. Is the news edited by Ramesh Pires, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court rejects request to ban a protest in Colombo tomorrow. Litro gas prices reduce significantly from midnight today. Japan supports 200,000 women and girls, through the project promises. The Finance Ministry to lift the import ban on the weedicide glyphosate with effect from August 5th. The National Fuel Pass QR system is open for new registrations again. The Department of Forest Conservation assures that no construction will take place at the Singharaja rainforest. The second Ramdoli procession to parade the streets of Kandy tonight. International news. U.S. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping health care and climate bill. Sports news, cricket. Prabhat Jayasuriya named ICC Player of the Month for July. Local news in detail. The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court has rejected a request made by the police to issue an order preventing a protest planned for tomorrow at the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo, organized by several organizations and political parties. Colombo Chief Magistrate Anand Amar Singh rejected a request by the Cinnamon Gardens Police. The magistrate informed that the police is vested with powers to take action in the event law and order is disrupted and public property is damaged during the protest. Litro Gas Limited announced the price of domestic gas will be reduced significantly by midnight today. Litro said the decision was taken considering the price reduction in the world market. Hence, the new selling price of the 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder is 4,664 rupees, a reduction of 246 rupees. The new price of the 5 kg gas cylinder is 1,872 rupees, a price reduction of 99 rupees. The new price for 2.3 kg gas cylinder is 859 rupees, a price reduction of 45 rupees. The new prices will take effect from midnight today. The Finance Ministry has lifted the import ban on the weedicide glyphosate with effect from August 5th, while allowing glyphosate imports into the country subject to import control license requirement. The Ministry of Finance in 2015 had imposed a ban on the import of glyphosate. However, it is reported that the Controller General of Imports and Exports is scheduled to issue a Gazette notice today, removing the relevant ban, subject to the import control license requirements, effective from the 5th of this month. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
Continuing with more local news, the second Randoli Pirahara of the annual SLBC Festival of the Temple of the Tooth Relic will parade the streets of Kandy tonight. Diyavadana Nileme Pradeep Nilanga Dalabandar said the Grand Randoli procession will be held on the 11th of August. The Diyavadana Nileme said the sacred tooth relic will be taken to the Askiriya Gedige Viharya following the Grand Randoli procession. The Department of Forest Conservation assured the Court of Appeal today that no construction of reservoirs or roads will take place by cleaning the Singharaja rainforest. The petition filed seeking an order to suspend any intended construction of reservoirs and roads and clearing of the state forest lands in the Singharaja Forest Reserve was taken up at the Court of Appeal. The petition was filed by the Centre for Environmental Justice and it was taken up in the presence of Justice Sobitha Rajakaruna and Dhammika Ganepula. The application will be called up again for consideration on the 8th of September. That ends local news.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka, Mizukozi Hideaki, handed over essential pharmaceuticals for pregnant women and youth which worth about 26 million rupees to Dr. Keheli Rambukwala, the Minister of Health. This emergency response was implemented under the partnership with UNFPA as part of the project for the improvement of access to information and services of sexual and reproductive health and rights and gender-based violence for women and young people, promises. The essential commodities and pharmaceuticals for reproductive health for pregnant women will be distributed across the nation to address the shortage of essential medications for the well-being of 215,000 pregnant women and adolescent girls. Promises has been launched in April 2019 under the framework of G7 Women, Peace and Security Partnership Initiative, for which Japan chose Sri Lanka as a partner country and has so far extended assistance of approximately $6 million. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
The National Fuel Pass QR system, which was disabled for 48 hours on Saturday, is open for new registrations again. The Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka has announced. New registrations were disabled for 48 hours on Saturday due to planned maintenance by the Department of Motor Traffic. The Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Vijayasakara, taking to Twitter, confirmed that the Department of Motor Vehicles has concluded their scheduled maintenance and the system is now available for new registrations again. The minister pledged to increase the fuel allocation for buses and taxis. That ends Watchlight.
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. U.S. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping healthcare and climate bill. UN Secretary General condemns suicidal shelling around Ukrainian nuclear plant. Horniman Museum to return 72 artifacts to Nigeria. World news in detail. The U.S. Senate on Sunday afternoon passed Democrats' $750 billion healthcare, tax and climate bill in a significant victory for President Joe Biden and his party. The final party line vote was 51 against 50, with Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie. The package is the product of the painstaking negotiations and its final passage would give Democrats a chance to achieve major policy objectives ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. The Democrat-controlled House, which is expected to take up the legislation on Friday, August 12th, must approve the bill before Biden can sign it into law. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres described recent artillery and rocket fire around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in central Ukraine as suicidal, further adding to fears of an accident at the plant, which is the largest of its kind in Europe. The Zaporizhzhia plant occupies an extensive site on the river Dnipro. It has continued operating at the reduced capacity since Russian forces captured it early in March, the Ukrainian technicians remaining at work. A London museum says it has agreed to return to Nigeria artifacts looted in the 19th century from the Kingdom of Benin. The Honeyman Museum said ownership of 72 objects would be transferred to the Nigerian government. Items include 12 brass plaques known as Benin bronzes, a brass cockerel and a key to King's Palace. It follows a request by Nigeria's National Museum for Museums and Monuments in January. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. U.S. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping healthcare and climate bill. UN Secretary General condemns suicidal shelling around Ukrainian nuclear plant. Honeyman Museum to return 72 artifacts to Nigeria. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. A discussion was held recently between Minister of Foreign Employment Manusha Nanaikara and the Country Director of the Human Resources Department of Korea, Mr. Lee, on the certificate of confirmation visa issue of Korean job seekers at the Foreign Employment Bureau. The discussion focused on achieving the goal of sending 5,800 Sri Lankans to Korea by the end of this year, and to accelerate the process. The minister discussed concerns put forward by the job seekers about their CCVI being expired before getting a job agreement from Korea and requested from the director to extend the expiring CCVI again. Accordingly, he agreed to extend such expired CCVIs of job seekers by another 6 months within 2 weeks. That ends development news. Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Cricket news. Sri Lankan spinner Prabhat Jayasurya's sensational start to international cricket has been capped off by winning the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for July 2022. Jayasurya beat England batter and June's Player of the Month winner Johnny Bairstow and French sensation Gaston Macion for the coveted monthly award. After a brilliant start to international cricket in the longest format, the 30-year-old was thrilled to have won the monthly award. In the other sports news, 2022 Commonwealth Games, 18-year-old Netmi Ahimsa Fernando Poruthotage, the youngest ever Sri Lankan medalist to win a bronze medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, arrived in the island. She won the bronze medal in the women's freestyle 57-kilogram wrestling event. Meanwhile, after 2 weeks of sporting excellence along with the heartbreaks, 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham will bid adieu to one of the most successful Commonwealth Games in recent history today. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Standing as a reflection of its commitment to swiftly adapt to the changing requirements of its valued clientele, Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart, has partnered with several of the nation's leading bicycle suppliers to offer easy payment plans to its Ceylon credit card holders. Addressing the need of the hour, the agile financial institutions was quick to analyze the skyrocketing demand for bicycles as Sri Lanka braves through the current unprecedented crisis. Along with the rise in demand, the cost of acquiring a bicycle has also increased drastically, making it a challenge for consumers to make these essential purchases. That ends business news.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Minister of Energy has granted permission to the Lanka Indian Oil Company to open 50 new filling stations. Managing Director of the company, Manoj Gupta, confirmed the development to the Colombo Stock Exchange today. LIOC is a listed company and has over 200 filling stations across the country. That ends Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Moving on to weather report, the Meteorological Department forecasts several spells of showers to occur in the western, sub-Ragamo and northwestern provinces and in the Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Strong winds about 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north-central and southern provinces and in Trincomalee district. The sea areas off the coast of extending from Puttalam to Trincomalee via Kankasanthuri and from Mathura to Pothaville will be rough at times. Naval and fishing communities are requested to be vigilant during the naval and fishing activities in the sea areas off the coastal extending from Puttalam to Trincomalee via Kankasanthuri and from Mathura to Pothaville. That ends weather report. To wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court rejects request to ban a protest in Colombo tomorrow. Litre gas prices reduced significantly from midnight today. Japan supports 200,000 women and girls through the project promises. The Finance Ministry to lift the import ban on the weedicide glyphosate with effect from August 5th. The National Fuel Pass QR system is open for new registrations again. The Department of Forest Conservation assures that no construction will take place at the Singharaja rainforest. The second Randoli procession to parade the streets of Kandy tonight. International news: U.S. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping healthcare and climate bill. Sports news: cricket. Prabhat Jayasuriya named ICC Player of the Month for July. With that, we wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka.